Hello and welcome or welcome back to Tree of Life Tarot. So let's see what is in store for us for the week beginning, if I can remember, April 12th. But of course, trust the timing of tarot. Tarot always arrives in the right time. Okay, I'm being told to take these 3 cards. This is going to be the bottom and these 2 are crossing, and we'll flip them over after we have the rest. Okay, so Spirit is up to something. The weekend definitely showed, this is recent past. Oh goodness. The weekend showed some tough energy. And here we go. So it's still on the board. So, but this is a week of, I do think this is going to be a big week in terms of shifts and realizations. Oh, that one did not want to come out. Here we go. All right. These 2 come out together. Oh, okay. Okay, I am told these are the crowning. Okay. And Spirit is telling me the ones that are flipped over, they're meant to stay flipped over right now while I read the rest of the energy. Okay, so I'm happy to see this. I'm very, very happy to see this. Wheel of Fortune. It was on the bottom of the deck at one point, I think in the weekend. So things are transitioning. Things want to change. That's what I want to say very clearly right now. Things want to change. The wheel wants to turn. That energy is just so clear right now that there wants to be a change. Now I'm going to go ahead and just call out what I'm seeing right here based on also a reading I did over the weekend, which is there has been a cost to what has been gained. Something has maybe been sacrificed in the past, and there's been a sense of, you know, and however this resonates for you, having pushed forward on the journey of whatever it is that you are trying to attain and needed to. Like there's no judgment in this at all about if this is just the reality of what happens sometimes. Something had to be sacrificed in order to move forward, in order to go on a necessary journey for growth or healing or whatever that is. But there's a dawning realization of what it has cost. A sacrifice may have been made. It could have been a passion, it could have been a person, whatever it is for you. And even though like maybe you have completed that journey, whatever that, you know, we're always on a new journey, but having completed that part of the journey and having sort of arrived at this moment of transition, the pain is arising, the pain of what was sacrificed in order to go on that journey and having to go forward is now coming to the surface. So recent past is really the realization of that, because Ace of Swords here, I'm aware I'm doing this completely out of order, but just roll with me on this. Ace of Swords is that clear mental energy. It's that understanding. It's the realization and seeing clearly what has happened, where things are now, and coming into awareness of the pain of what was lost. Okay, let's move to the center. So, center end, oh my goodness. I guess I'm not surprised, because that came out over the weekend with our 3 of Swords. Now, again, death, don't be afraid of death, because death is always a rebirth. Death is a good card, and especially, I actually really love this. I love death and the Wheel of Fortune together. And look at the flag here with death, and then look at the Wheel of Fortune and how similar, you know, they are. Death is a natural process of, you know, it's alchemy. One thing coming to an end, breaking down into its, you know, elemental particles, I guess you could say, in order to be resurrected and reborn anew into a newer, better way. But this is very much the breakdown part of that cycle. So it's harsh, it's difficult, but it's not about death being the end, it's about transformation. So that is at the heart of the week ahead, and I guess I'm not surprised. Oh, yep. Okay. So our crossing energy, we have the Magician and the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands has come out a bit recently as well. So the Magician is also beautiful. Guys, don't be afraid of this reading. There's some harsh energy here, but this is actually really, really, I mean, I don't even know what's up here yet, but I'm already seeing how good this is. The Magician transforms one substance into another. So the Magician takes this death process, combines it with other elements, and makes something, wields it to his advantage. And I don't mean that in a scheming kind of way. I mean that in a really positive kind of way. Understands the laws of life and death, understands the laws of the universe. You notice how he's holding one hand up and pointing one hand down. That is the as above, so below. That's the law of correspondence. That's as the seasons turns, as stars grow, burst, die, disperse, and new stars are born out of it. That's the understanding of this process, that happens on the grand cosmic scale, and it also happens on the small scale within our lives. Every day, every season, we're constantly going through this cycle. Now, sometimes it's bigger and more significant than others, and I will say, this is big and significant. This is big and significant. So our Magician here, coming with our Death card, is facilitating the transformation. And perhaps the Magician is you, or perhaps the Magician is just a consciousness operating through you, which of course it is through all of us. But this is like, the Magician is almost controlling this death process. The Magician knows what to do with this. And so perhaps this is you, and perhaps this is, the wise part of you that has, is coming to the surface more now. It is the crossing energy. But I will say, Nine of Wands here is the wounded warrior. So this knowledge, this wisdom of what to do, of how to work with death, has been hard won. It has come at a cost. It has left some scars and has made you a bit weary. So there is a little bit of a sense for me with this Nine of Wands, even though this is positive, there's a little bit of a sense of having to drag yourself through it a little bit. It's all good. It's all positive. It's all for, a good purpose. But it's been a battle to this point. So you're almost there, though. Keep going. Okay, so that's our center. We talked already about our recent past and, near future. So going through that death kind of wrings out all that pain we've been accumulating. But there's clarity to go with this. This is not suffering, aimlessly. This is the realization. I'm being redundant now. I apologize. Let's move on to Temperance and the Queen of Wands, which I actually love here. These are both can be cards of Sagittarius. Again, a third card of alchemy. Temperance has 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot in the water, which means kind of 1 foot in the material, 1 foot in the unconscious, subconscious, and is pouring back and forth between the finite and the infinite. So taking what is, combining it, expanding it out to what could be, and then pouring what could be back into what is. That is that Mobius strip right here we see above, the infinity symbol above the Magician's head. So this is our crowning energy, bringing things back into balance. Bringing things back into balance. through hard journeys and hard lessons, things do out of necessity get out of balance, because sometimes that's just the nature of growth. But she is here to restore things. She is here for peace. That may actually be a male angel. I've never figured that out, but I read it as female, and I also read it as female because here we have the Queen of Wands below the deck. And she is fiery, passionate, a little bit witchy with our black cat here. She, her passion creates. This is generative passion. This is fertile passion. She's got her sunflower here. Everything she touches wants to bloom. But she's also, there's that idea of Shakti in sort of the Vedic Hindu yoga's tradition, which is the life force energy that animates all things. And that is what our Queen of Wands is. She brings the life. She can be the life of the party, but I don't take that if it resonates with you. But that's not exactly what we're talking about here. But she is infusing new life into things. So, and that's great to see it in this position down here, because this is sort of what's happening beneath the surface, which is this re-emerging of passion. This new life force energy kind of coming in and infusing everything. It's also what, drives our death cycles. It's the desire for new life that causes things to die. And that desire to new life is shot through all of creation. It is our Shakti here. So when things reach their peak, where no new life can be gained from it, it goes through a transformation and new life emerges. So this is really nice to see at the bottom here. And so, but also with the crowning energy, this is kind of what's driving and emerging out of this. In the crowning energy, this is something for you to be mindful of as we're moving through this, is how to find balance. What are the emotional needs? What are the material needs? And allow this process to balance things out. Be aware and be mindful as you move through the week. Where do you feel out of balance? Where do you feel in balance? Where do you feel things, need to come into better synergy? Synergy is a great word for this. More synergy and harmony. Okay, let's move over here. So, what's shaping this situation? Six of Wands, which is a wonderful, let me make sure you can see this, card of coming home victorious. This is victory, this is success, this is, so a lot has been gained. And it's like that success, because this is sort of how the universe is shaping this. The success you've been given can now be applied to other things. You've been given a certain amount of success in certain areas so that we move from Six of Wands here to Six of Cups. Now there can be mutuality. Now you have something to give. Because our Six of Cups here, see our little friend here, in a very kind and innocent place, offering that cup to his, young maiden. But it is because of the Six of Cups here now, these victories that have been afforded you in the past, or, currently, there's now something to offer. And there is a desire to offer it. Success is no fun when there's no one to share it with. So, that's that card, but it also came out with the Moon, which is things coming out of the shadows, the unconscious, sort of a journey through the dark. So this success is going to help kind of navigate into the unknown. And I'm getting sort of two things here. One is there's an unknown in terms of what this offering may bring. This offering may kick off a journey into the unknown because now someone else is being brought into the equation. Or there's a sense of discovery of something that was hidden before. Oh my gosh, I had the word and it just slipped right away from me. Divulging is sort of the word, but it's not the exact word. But there's a revealing, perhaps, of something through this offering. The offering either requires a revealing of something that might have been preferred to keep hidden, or there's sort of a journey through a little bit of fear in order to make the offering in the first place. And that, so not surprisingly, because we have that moon and the uncertainty there, we have our Five of Wands again. I feel like this card keeps coming out. There's some competing energies here. There's, you know, and I can get a little bit sometimes a sense of some machismo from this card, of, you know, wanting to show off, of wanting to, you know, come out on top, of not wanting to be caught on the back foot, because there's a sense of either competition in the air, and maybe there is. Maybe there is. We'll find out. But this is in your hopes and fears position. So the fear could be that there is going to be conflict when this offer is made, that there are going to be competing priorities that are going to throw things into chaos. And this could be a little bit of a guarding against chaos. So that's just, and again, that's the fear, then the hope. That's not necessarily actual reality. So bear that in mind. All right, here we go. Well, let's see. Do we have, no, we have 3 of the 6s. 6 of Wands, 6 of Cups, and now we have 6 of Pentacles. So we don't have the 6 of Swords, which would indicate sort of moving on to calmer waters. I'm happy to see the 10 of Wands here, because that's the last leg of the journey. It's a hard leg of the journey. It's the hardest leg of the journey. You're almost home. You're exhausted. You've gathered up this stuff, and it's a heavy burden, but you're almost there. Home is right here. Now, interesting, these 6s. Let's also just talk about this real quick, which is, I'm also taking this as the promise of peace and rest. There is rest on the other side of this. So get through this 10 of Wands moment. There is rest and healing on the other side. So get through it. Now the 6 of Pentacles is a card of generosity. It's a card of help from an unexpected source, of kind of restoring balance and equal give and take. Also, this is my card of divine intervention. For me, this is a me thing, but this is always my card of divine intervention. It's sort of unexpected help coming in from a benevolent source. And of course, what is more benevolent than source itself, the divine, the creator, God, however you want to identify there, of coming in and helping change the circumstances to get you over the finish line. I'm also in this one, that's my normal read on this card, but there's also a sense for me of you, the viewer, being in the 6 of Pentacles position, which is sort of reminiscent of what we have down here. This success and victory putting you in a position to make this offering. And this offering here with the 6 of Pentacles is material. It's generosity in material form, and perhaps there will be more people to take care of at the end of all this. This will perhaps mean some greater responsibility, and perhaps mean also you are the arbiter of justice. Look at the scales in the hands there. But in this case, arbiter of justice does not mean like revenge or getting back at somebody. It means helping restore to others what has been taken from them or what has been lost to them, which if you think back to the beginning of this reading, there's a sense of coming in with a sacrifice was made, a painful sacrifice was made at some point that, oh, I lost my train of thought. But that sacrifice is something that came at a great cost, because you know what that cost feels like, what it is to be without. There is then a responsibility to show compassion to others who might also be struggling in a state of lack. So, you know, with victory, with success, with blessing comes responsibility. And it makes you, perhaps this is just even saying, this is making you a more generous person because you know what it is to go without. You know what that pain of loss, Three of Swords, feels like. And that pain expands a heart and opens a heart, surprisingly, you know? One response to pain is to close off. But if you go deep enough into it, which is being required here by our Death card and by our Wheel of Fortune and by our Moon, it can open a heart and transform how you relate and move and operate and share in the wider world. It can open up compassion. And that might be both what this process is bringing forward in you and what is going to help get over the finish line. Just think about any fairy tales. Let me think. I'm not good at examples on the spot, but where, you know, there's a rule of kind of like nothing for nothing, but a character will often interact with perhaps a talking animal who is in need and either not kill it or free it from a trap or, you know, feed it when it's in trouble. And further down in the story, that animal will come back and then assist our protagonist because the protagonist showed kindness to it. You know, you never know how it's going to come back around. And so showing that generosity up front could pay off and help you get across that journey because, you know, you've created allies. And I don't mean that in a cheap transactional kind of way. I mean that in just, you know, the universe and all of life and all of us are connected by love and kindness. And when you give it out, you inevitably receive it back because you have forged positive relationships. And that might be what's going on here. And also, this journey has been hard and has made you more compassionate. So all of those things are kind of mixed up together here. And then be assured there is rest on the other side of this. That rest is coming. So this is a very powerful week. So keep your heads about you. Remember temperance. Keep that in mind. Move through it. Remember generosity. I will be here to support with the dailies, and may you have a blessed week, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.